Ladies and gentlemen, America has just crossed a line so dangerous, so irreversible, that most people won't even notice it until it's too late. Now here's the shocking truth. No one is ready for what's coming next. Not our schools, not our cities, not even our families. But before this video ends, I promise you I'll reveal to you exactly what that line is, why it changes everything for your future, and what you must do now to prepare. This might be the most important message you'll hear this year, but here's the catch. You can't skip around. Every piece I'm about to share builds on the next one. If you miss even one detail, the entire puzzle falls apart. So stay with me until the very end, because the people who understand this truth will be the ones who thrive, while the rest will be blindsided. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel like America is moving faster than you can keep up with? Even the way we think about work and family, it feels like everything is changing overnight. And yet, despite all of these changes, there's one silent shift happening right now that almost no one is talking about. It's not a headline you'll see on the news, and yet it's more impactful than any election or policy. It affects your health, your safety, and the lives of your children and grandchildren. Now, before I continue, let me ask you a question. What city are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below. I want to see seniors from across this country and across the world speaking up, because this message is not just for one state or one town. This message matters to every one of us. And if you value peace of mind and clarity in today's challenges, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the bell icon. Because this kind of message, the one you're about to hear, doesn't get shared often, but it might be exactly what you or someone you love needs to hear right now. I promise you, by the end of this message, you will understand something most people will refuse to believe. You will see a side of things connected to what is happening in America today that the mainstream is not showing. Before I explain the first piece of this puzzle, I want you to think about this. How many times in your life have you ignored a warning, only to regret it later? Maybe it was about your health, maybe it was financial, maybe it was about a relationship. But most of the time, we dismiss warnings because we think that won't happen to me. I'll be fine. But history proves the opposite. Warnings are always ignored until suddenly it's too late. That's why I'm asking you right now. If you've ever ignored a warning in your past and wished you hadn't, tell me about it in the comments. Share your story, because those stories might wake up someone else in this community. Here's where the shift begins. The first sign that America has crossed into dangerous territory is something you've already felt in your bones: the collapse of attention and focus. We are living in the first generation in history where human beings are losing the ability to sustain attention for longer than a few seconds. And this isn't just about kids scrolling on TikTok. It's happening to adults, seniors, professionals, parents, everyone. Stanford researchers recently revealed that the average American adult's attention span has dropped to below 47 seconds before they feel the urge to switch to something else. 47 seconds. That means our very capacity to think deeply, to solve problems, to reflect, and to pray is vanishing. Now here's the hidden danger. Civilizations are built on attention. The ability to focus built the light bulb, the moon landing, and the vaccines that saved millions of lives. But when a society loses attention, it loses wisdom, it loses resilience, and it loses the ability to respond to crisis. That's the first crack in the foundation. And this crack is spreading faster than anyone expected. I want to give you something simple you can start doing immediately, because listening without action is wasted energy. Get yourself a 31-day daily high-impact planner, not to schedule your meetings, but to reclaim your attention. Here's how. Each morning, write down the 3 most important things you must focus on today. Set aside 90 minutes where you do not allow any distractions. No phone, no television, no interruptions. At the end of the day, reflect on how many of those 3 things you actually achieved. This isn't about productivity, it's about survival. Because if you can't control your attention, you won't be able to handle what's coming. But here's the thing. Loss of focus is only the first sign, and it's not even close to the most dangerous one. America's already crossed deeper into territory we can't afford to ignore. I'm going to tell you about a second shift, one that's already rewriting the future of every household from seniors to students. If the first crack was attention, this next one is the storm that's shaking the entire structure. So stay with me, because by the end you'll understand the secret line America has crossed, why no one is ready for it, and how you can be one of the few who actually is. And remember, drop your city in the comments, share your story, and let others know they're not alone in this. Because together, We might still have time. You already know the first warning. Our collective attention is crumbling. That crack is already dangerous. But here's the second shift. One that most people will never see until it's far too late. Point 2. The silent surrender of autonomy to hidden systems. What if I told you that America has just begun to hand over decision, not to human leaders, not to your elected officials, but to invisible algorithms, black box systems, and machine judgments, and that this process is already past the point of no easy return? You might think that's exaggerated, but listen closely. Right now, critical aspects of your life, health, insurance, credit, even moral judgments, are being filtered, scored, and adjusted by systems you will never see or fully understand. Your insurance claim is accepted or rejected by an algorithm. Your medical diagnosis is influenced by an AI model trained on data you didn't choose. Your credit score is updated by hidden processes you cannot interrogate. Your job suitability, your eligibility for programs, your access to services, all are mediated by unseen systems. This is not sci-fi, it is here. And what's terrifying is how fast it's taking root. You see, every time you accept terms and conditions, privacy agreements, or automated decisions, you give away tiny slivers of your freedom, and bit by bit, those slivers accumulates, until the human in the loop becomes a subsidy to the machine, not the reverse. Here's a startling example. In one health system in America, patients reported being denied certain treatments not because of a doctor's evaluation, but because a predictive model calculated they were low yield for benefit. Patients who thought they were negotiating with people were negotiating with black box code. Most did not even know. What we are beginning to see, and what no one in mainstream media is highlighting, is a gradual disempowerment of human oversight. Incremental changes, one convenience at a time, until decisions once reserved for your conscience, your community, your ministers, or trusted advisors, become delegated to opaque machines. Scientists are now calling this phenomenon gradual disempowerment, when incremental AI systems erode human influence over economic, political, cultural systems, until we no longer truly control what we believe, buy, or live. Now I want you to pause and reflect. How many of your life choices right now are already filtered by invisible systems? How many times have you accepted a recommended decision without questioning why the machine gave that recommendation? Drop your answers in the comments. Tell me one area, healthcare or finance, relationships, where you already feel you've lost control to a system. What makes this so urgent is that those systems are advancing faster than our ability to question them. Regulation is lagging behind. Public awareness is still minimal. And the more we let it slide, the harder it becomes to reclaim autonomy. Imagine a generation where people no longer argue over laws or morality, but over machine-generated verdicts. Imagine that your doctor, your counselor, your minister, even your spouse begins to defer to what the model said. That is not a distant dystopia. It is being seeded now. And here's something few realize. When you surrender autonomy in one domain, say your finances or health, you weaken your resilience in all domains, because systems are interconnected. The algorithm that decides your credit rating might influence your housing options, which in turn influences nearby schools, tax benefits, community resources, everything. If you allow the surrender to happen without awareness, you will wake up one day and realize the ground has shifted beneath your feet, and you cannot demand answers because no human signed off. You have lost the leverage. So here's what you do. 1. Identify one area where you can reclaim a decision from machines. Maybe that's choosing a doctor, asking for human review of your credit, insisting on human appeal in an automated process. 2. Use your 31-day daily high-impact planner to schedule machine audit. Each week, pick one system in your life you depend on: health, insurance, banking, social algorithm, and ask who is controlling it. Can I override it? Can I demand human justification? 3. Talk to your neighbors, your church group, your family. Bring awareness to this shift. The more people awake, the stronger our collective pushback. But this is only the second danger. The truth is, the line America crossed is more profound. And until you hear point 4, you will not see the full picture. I will reveal a third pattern. So hidden, so subtle, it's already invisible to most, but it's setting us up for crisis. You must not skip that, because once you understand it, you'll realize why most people will be powerless when the real storm arrives. If you're still with me, comment aware, or reclaim below. Let's build a community awake to this. The secret line, the full case, and what you absolutely must do, will come, but only when you're ready to see it. You've seen the first crack, attention collapsing, and the second erosion, autonomy surrendered to hidden systems. Now, let me show you the third pattern.
The cascading fragility of interdependence, a hidden lattice of vulnerabilities no one is prepared for. This is where the secret line America crossed becomes structural. The danger is no longer isolated. It spreads, it cascades, it multiplies. Point 3. The invisible web of dependency that fails first. Let me put it simply. Modern America is built on a network of dependencies, so intricate and delicate that when one small piece fails, the damage spreads like wildfire. And we are crossing the threshold where those cascades become unavoidable. Think about it. Your power, your water, your internet, your health system, your fuel supply, transportation, grocery delivery, all of them rely on each other in hidden ways. When one fails, it drags the rest. Here's a stunning fact few realize. MITRE's new mapping project, Project Homeland, has begun to reveal how deeply infrastructure systems overlap, and how a failure in one node, say, a local power substation, can ripple into hospitals, water treatment, communications, and emergency response. In other words, the blackout in one neighborhood might dim the lights in another city, shut down water systems miles away, and knock out emergency services far beyond the immediate area. At the same time, a study of power system vulnerability across U.S. counties found that dozens of counties have become hotspots, areas where outages are more frequent, last longer, and recover slower. That means if the grid is stressed, many communities will have no fallback. On top of that, operational technology, the systems controlling industrial, utility and infrastructure machines has itself gone public, exposed and misconfigured. A recent analysis found nearly 70,000 IoT devices globally exposed to the internet, devices running water treatment systems, energy grids, factories, all vulnerable to remote takeover. These are not hypothetical threats. In 2025, cyber attacks on U.S. infrastructure surged by over 70%, targeting utilities, energy systems, and critical networks. We are not dealing with random, disconnected failures. We are dealing with systemic collapse. Why this pattern is so dangerous, and why most people can't see it. Because every individual subsystem, your local power, your local water, your local grid, looks stable. Most of the time, the cracks only reveal themselves when a threshold is crossed. And by the time you see that threshold, the dominoes are already falling. Also, human perception is bad at seeing networks. People see their electric meter fail. They see the pump at the water plant break, but they don't see how one failure propagates to 10 others. That cascade is invisible until it hits. What makes this even worse, the threshold is lowering. As systems grow more efficient, they also become more brittle. Efficiency replaces redundancy. Cost-cutting removes buffer. Lean operations reduce slack. That means there's less breathing room. One failure, one cyber attack, one natural disaster becomes enough to tip everything. Let me ask you, in your town, in your community, how many backup systems do you really have? Could your hospital survive an 8-hour blackout? Your local water plant, your emergency radio, your neighborhood's backup generator? Drop a comment now. Name one critical service in your area that you expect would fail first in a cascade. My water pump, my hospital, my power line, etc. Let others see how fragile our world really is. Last year, a mid-sized city in Florida experienced a substation failure. What started as a local outage spiraled. Cell towers shut down. Gas pumps couldn't process transactions. Water systems lost pressure. Hospitals had to shift to backup modes. The local officials had no plan for cascading failure. They thought each system was independent. They were wrong. You can't dismantle national infrastructure, but you can shore up resilience around you. Use your 31-day daily high-impact planner and schedule a dependency audit. Pick 1 week this month and list every essential system you depend on: electricity, water, internet, fuel. Then ask, if this fails, how long could I last? Identify micro-redundancies. Can you store 3 days of water? Alternate power sources, backup communication methods. Simple systems like a battery, a solar charger, analog radios can be life's bridge. Build community awareness. Talk with neighbors, your church, your local group. Share these insights. If 20 households in a block realize they share dependencies, they can coordinate backup plans, mutual support, and layer redundancies. So now you have seen 3 warning signs. 1. The collapse of attention. 2. The surrender of autonomy to hidden systems. 3. The cascade vulnerability of interdependence. These 3 are laying the groundwork for the secret dangerous line that America crossed. A line where the hidden becomes the determinant, where default systems decide your fate, where you lose control, where you can't reverse the cascade. Next, I will expose the 4th and most crucial point, the the one that ties all of these together, and reveals the secret line why no one is ready, and exactly how you can prepare and defend yourself. That final truth is powerful. It's urgent. You cannot afford to miss it. If you're still here, type Cascade already in the comments. Let's stand vigilant together. Here is the fourth and most important point, the one that pulls together all the previous warnings, reveals the secret, dangerous line America just crossed, explains why almost no one is ready, and shows what you personally must do to prepare and survive. This is the truth, hidden beneath the surface, and without it, the prior three risks remain disconnected. Listen carefully. This part changes everything. The dangerous line America just crossed is the shift from human-centered systems to system-determined destiny, where default systems, models, and infrastructures, not human intention or moral judgment, begin determining life outcomes. That shift means your fate can increasingly be decided by algorithmic thresholds, cascading failures, and opaque dependencies you cannot question. This is the fourth pattern. Algorithmic sovereignty and systemic determinism, a regime where systems, not people, rule. The secret line, when systems become sovereign. Up until now, societies balance systems under human governance. People, communities, laws, ethics still held ultimate authority. But we have crossed into a domain where invisible architectures, direct outcomes, and human choices increasingly marginalized. That line is crossed when systems decide who gets healthcare, whom insurance grants without human review. Infrastructure becomes self-adjusting. Grid systems, water networks, and traffic flows modify themselves based on models, not local consent or oversight. Algorithms enforce behavioral norms, like credit scores, or digital reputation automatically with little recourse. In effect, systems become sovereign over citizens. You are subject to their rules, not masters of their design. This is the dangerous line. And America, through the convergence of AI, infrastructure automation, and algorithmic control, has already stepped beyond it. Why no one is ready. 1. Invisibility. This line is hidden. It's not about one law or one lawmaker. It's about architectures, decision frameworks, hidden feedback loops, because it's the subtle most people never detect it, until the system has already reshaped life. 2. Speed and compounding. If the shift compounds with the other patterns you've already learned. Loss of attention. 1 means fewer people question system decisions. Surrender of autonomy means we have given away oversight. Cascading dependencies. 3 means one system failure spills into all other. These amplify the sway of algorithmic sovereignty. 3. Lack of accountability. When decisions are made by code, by black boxes, by models, it's impossible to appeal to reason or to protest. You lose leverage. The system does not answer to individuals. 4. False comfort in quantity. People believe their strength in scale. They think systems are robust. Technology protects us, but these systems are brittle beneath the smooth veneer. Many fail when scaled, when optimized, when under stress. 5. Structural law, regulation, public ethics, and human norms lag behind the speed of system design. By the time policy catches up, the new architecture is entrenched. You cannot stop what is already deeply embedded. Because of all this, most people are entirely unprepared. Even if they sense something is off, they will be overwhelmed. When the shift becomes visible, too late to push back. I won't leave you empty-handed. Here are concrete strategies, tested, timely, and critical, that you must put into practice now. Use them with care, with prayer, with purpose. 1. System mapping and personal audit. Using your 31-day daily high-impact planner, designate a week to map every system that touches your life. Healthcare, banking, local grid, social services, communications, digital platforms. For each, ask, who controls it? What decision points does it have? Where is human oversight optional or non-existent? How can I interject? How can I replace or bypass? Chart vulnerabilities. That chart becomes your awareness tool. 2. Force the human in the loop. Wherever possible, demand human review, human appeal, human oversight. Write letters, make calls, invoke policies. Don't accept automated decision as final. Use local government legal rights. Your voice where oversight is already removed. Withdraw participation or substitute systems you can control. 3. Local autonomous island. Begin building small zones of independence. Your home, your neighborhood, Your faith community. Use micro networks, offline tools, local resources, communication methods, not fully dependent on cloud. Backup power, surface networks, analog channels, alternative systems you partially control. 4. Cognitive immunity, strengthen judgment, because systems prey on your attention and bias. You must fortify your discernment, practice focused reading, rigorous thought, resistance to shortcuts, schedule hands-off system detox days, no algorithmic feeds, no predictive suggestions for clarity, learn decision criteria, ask why did the system decide this for me, and try to reverse engineer. 5. Community guardrails, share what you've learned, teach your neighbors, your church group, your family, form peer review cells to audit decisions made by systems in your circle. Collective consciousness reduces vulnerability. Now you understand the dangerous line, but you're not fully ready yet, because there is deeper terrain beyond systems, the moral architecture of society, where unseen values tip the scales. In my next video, I will go further than systems. I will show you where values intersect, system sovereignty, and how to reclaim what is irreducible, human dignity, purpose, legacy. If you found any of this resonant, comment sovereign or reclaim below. Tell me which strategy you will adopt for system mapping, forcing human review, autonomous islands, or cognitive immunity. Like this video if this information matters to you so others can find it. Subscribe and turn on the bell, because the next message is more urgent, more personal, more life-changing than what we've covered so far. This message found you now, because you must see what others are blind to. The dangerous line America crossed. The patterns no one talks about. The hidden shift towards system determinism. It's here, and these strategies will help you not just survive, but preserve what matters. Stay vigilant, stay hopeful, and join me in the next conversation, where we dig deeper into what truly restores human agency when systems dominate. Check my playlist for more videos, and I'll see you in the next